Hey everyone! Welcome to Byte-Sized Python, the channel where we break down Python programming into small, easy-to-digest bytes. In this video, I'll show you how to use a variable, the way you store information. Now I'm in VS Code. Before I show you how to make a variable, first I'm going to save this so it'll be easier to call later. So, just need to do File, Save As, then locate wherever you want to save it, and then I'm going to call it variables.py. Now it'll be able to read it as Python. So first, you choose what you want the variable to be called. So I want to call it hi. Then you put an equal sign. Then you can do a single quote or a double quote. And you can go, hello. Then if you do print hi with no quotes, this is how you call a variable. So then when you save it and run it, it says hello, just like the variable. Now, you can change whatever this says, and when you save it and run it, it'll just change this without having to change the actual print statement. You can also do operations inside of them. So if you want to do num, like for number, equals 1 plus 1, then you can do print num, and when you save it and run it, it will say 2. It'll say the answer. So if you have a num1 equals 1, and when you're doing numbers, as you can see, you just put no quotes. But if you have some words, then you want to have the quotes because it's a string. Then you do num2 equals, I don't know, choose whatever you want. I'm just going to do 5. Then you can do num equals num1 plus num2. So then you can print num. So when you save it and run it, it'll say 6. 1 plus 5 equals 6. So then you can also do addition of variables inside of the print statement. So you could go num1 plus num2, which when you save it and run it, it'll put 6. Now, there are several errors that you can do with these. So if you want to make a variable, you have to make sure it's not already a keyword. Like, for example, print is a keyword. Another one that I'll show you later is def. So if you wanted to say a definition equals definition, then if you do print def, it looks like you're calling the variable, but because this is a keyword, it'll give you an error. So look. So when you save it and run it, it'll give you an error, invalid syntax. So this is saying that def isn't supposed to be used like this. So if you run into an error like this where you're using a keyword that already exists, you can just change the name and then make sure you also change it in your print statement. Another error could be just like the way you define it. So 3,000 stars equals 3,000. That'll be an error because you can't start a variable with a number. So if you do this and save it and run it, then you can realize that you can't start a variable with a number. So you can just spell it out, 3,000, and make sure you also use an underscore and not a space or anything else. And then when you save it and run it, it'll work. Let's say you forget to put the equal sign because you're just going to come back to it later. It'll also give you this error that says name error is not defined, which is saying that 3,000, it looks like you're trying to call the variable instead of create it. So you have to make sure that there's always an equals and something after the equals. because if there's not something after the equals, it'll also give you an error. Like this, where it'll just say invalid syntax because it's like 3000 is this. What's after 3000? So then you have to add that to keep error free. Now, there are some cool things that you can do when you're printing out a bunch of different variables. So with variables, we could use a bunch of them in a single print statement using an F string that will help you keep track of them a lot easier. So instead of just going straight into the string where the two quotes are, you put an F and then you do the string. Then you use curly brackets and you can do hi, which will say hi there. Then you can just say, I like pizza. Now, when you run this, it says, hi there, I like pizza. Now, another way that you can do this with a bunch of variables. So if I create a variable called pizza equals pizza, then you can just add curly brackets around the pizza, and then when you save it and run it, it still says I like pizza. Or I could do pizza, and when I save it and run it, I just changed the variable, but not this, yet it still says pizza. Then, if you don't like the F string because it can get kind of complicated, there's also something called concatenation where you can go print just a normal quote. Then you can go, I like, close quote. You could do a comma, which isn't concatenation, and you can do pizza. And then concatenation, you use a plus sign to add another string. So you're basically saying this string, I like, then the comma adds a space, so then it'll think pizza. Oh, right, I remember that. This is here. Then it'll plug this string into this sentence. Then it sees the addition sign and it's like, okay, adding this string to that string, which will make it basically just add a period. So when you save it and run that, I like pizza. And you can do the exact same thing using the F string. So print, I like pizza. And when you save it and run it, the two are the exact same, other than the fact that I capitalized that I. There are a few errors with these two, though. So like if you forget the comma on that, and you save it and run it, it'll say an invalid syntax, and this one actually is telling you exactly how to solve it. Perhaps you forgot a comma. And then if you forget the plus sign, it'll do the same thing. Then on the F string, if you forget a bracket, it's not very clear on what it wants, but it says F string expecting that. So it doesn't usually say where, it just puts it at the very end. So if I just said pizza and then like a bunch of just random gibberish and save it and run it, it'll say right here, right before the semicolon punctuation, it can get weird. So that's the F string error. So to fix it, just add the curly bracket, and then it'll be fixed. Save it and run it. And also, don't forget the quote. I almost forgot the quote. And then there it is. It's working again. So that's all for variables. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel and hit that bell so you don't miss any new content. See you next time.